high-profile collaborations, which I enjoyed, was what you did with David Bowie. You did Heathen and Reality, and of course, you did after he passed. You did the Never Let Me Down with
Oh,
Reeves.
you skipped the next day
Oh, and
and
the
the
next
next
day,
day, the next day and the next day after,
the next day
and
after.
and I also did a bunch of things that ended up like going to that were never on records that went to films or were
Okay,
intended to go to films.
yeah,
So that was a that was a really great period of life. I
yeah,
mean, in every way, it was a great period of life, and and David was incredible, and he was so generous with me. I mean, in a human way, as a friend. That I, on top of the fact that it nailed to the wall to me how much of a genius he was in his way, how deeply idiosyncratic he was, and how he mined and kept trying to grow his idiosyncrasy so that it was always coming from the same place. And I got an education in that. And
hmm
there is nothing, the whole relationship started on such a positive note, you know, laughing our asses off. So, so it was. I just felt like this is if as long as I stay concentrated, this is going to be great. And it was 15 years. So, and I received an email from him before he passed, and his comment to me was that the what's the name of the last record?
Black Star.
Black Star. The Black Star thing is over. We have something else to do together, and I'm really looking forward to it in the beginning of the year sometime. And looking back at the letter, I think he was just, especially, especially since I thought he was, and I've said this before, when we were working on the next day, I thought something was really wrong with David. I thought that his cancer had come back. I didn't believe that he was healthy. His attitude was different on the next day than on any previous record. And the way we worked on it was different and
Mm.
felt not as much directed by him as it was by him and Tony together. It felt just different. And I had a great time, but I told my wife immediately, I said, I think there's something wrong with David because he keeps disappearing. He leaves and his face is all gray, and he comes back and he's okay. And I know he's not taking drugs because I know exactly what that looks like and smells like. And and she said, yeah, well, he's probably okay. And I wonder, I always still wonder if that note that he sent me was kind of just a way of saying goodbye and like
Mm.
trying to be positive, you know, in his own way. We have something important to do together yet. That's what that's what pretty much what he said in January.
Mm.
So I don't know. Yeah, it was a great period of time though. Fantastic. To be in a room with David and him to go, on this on the second day I was there, he said, would you like to do that thing like where you're working on your own and I'll just disappear for a few hours and I'll come in and check on you? And I said, yeah. And he goes, okay, great. So then you just tell me when you want me to listen to stuff. And you just go, there was like, in 2 days, there was this trust built up that was like, what the fuck? This is awesome. This is like my friends that I've been friends with, like Carter Burwell for like 30 years or whatever, 25 years, like, or Tim or somebody. Yeah, just do what you need to do, and we'll sort it out later. I was kind of blown away by that. I I have to say, and David was aware of my lack of sleep, and well aware of it even before we met. For some reason, somebody told him, and he also happened to be a super early riser, even before his daughter was born. And he said to me, he would say to me, "Well, tomorrow I'm going to write. I'm going to go into the room around 4:35, and I'm going to write. If the door is closed, don't come in. Go to breakfast, hang out, swim, or just meditate or take a nap or whatever. Just hang around the studio, and when I'm done, I'll come out, and then we can start." So he would have his writing, and invariably he would stop around 7:30, 7:45, and I'd go in and just, what do you want me to work on today? And we'd listen to a track together, and I'd start throwing ideas, and then he'd go, "Okay, Brendan's here. Tony's off with his friend, so Brendan's here. So if you need anything, just call me. I'll be up in the other building." Like, okay, man.